Name a more iconic duo than Magic players and trying to cheat the rules in various ways so you don't actually play the cards the right way Richard Garfield intended them. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another modern video, and today Socks of Grandeur has asked me to play an As Foretold deck list. Now, let's talk about the rules first. Beginning of your upkeep, you put a time counter on As Foretold. Once each turn, you may pay 0 rather than pay the mana cost for a spell you cast with mana value X or less, where X is the number of time counters on As Foretold. So what you want to do with this card is use it to cast cards that normally have suspend. Your Living End, Crashing Footfalls, Ancestral Vision sorts of cards, and so you can get a ridiculous amount of value once per turn. And it does say once each turn, notably here. So I believe you get to do that on your turn and your opponent's turn, in theory, which is pretty cool. Now, I was sent 2 deck lists by Socks of Grandeur, and we're going to play a 3rd deck list. And I think this is a really cool day to talk about the process of deck building. So this was the first deck list that they sent me. Goal was very clear. Use As Foretold to cast these 2 cards and use a handful of free and cheap counter spells to go and make it so you make it to turn 3. Here was kind of my conceptual problem with it. The deck was trying to do some cute things here with like Leyline of Anticipation and Jace Reawakened, where, oh, if I get a Leyline, I can cast Jace on turn 2 rather than on turn 4, and then I can plot with Jace to Ancestral Vision or Crashing Footfall the following turn. And this felt to me very janky, and the removal that was here was Suspend, which is not permanent removal. And while 8 power is pretty darn good for a single card, Suspend is maybe not hard enough removal to make it to turn 3 without otherwise interacting and then close the game over roughly 3 combat steps. Deck list number 2 I got was on the right track. This one had some removal now. Some actual hard removal in the form of Path to Exile, but the core was otherwise largely the same. As a rules note here, Snapcaster Mage does not allow you to flash back these cards from the graveyard. So if we look at the text here, target instant or sorcery in your graveyard gains flashback until the end of turn. The flashback cost is equal to its mana cost. And we are going to see a similarly worded card in a second that is going to work with these 2 cards. I feel like Cryptic Command is probably past its heyday in Modern, and I feel like we are on the right track here, but there's no Supreme Verdict, there's no sweepers, there's no redundancy for Path to Exile. Snapcaster Mage isn't removal unless you have Path to Exile first. The counterspells that you do have are a little bit clunky, so I didn't think that this one was quite a winner either. So I started digging in, trying to find some As Foretold stuff, and I actually found something that looks really good. And I think the thing that was missing from both of the other deck lists was the color black. Now here is our slightly different Snapcaster Mage, Halo Forager at 3 mana. When it enters, you may pay X. When you do, you may cast target instant or sorcery with mana value X from a graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that spell would be put into a graveyard, exile it instead. So the key difference here between this and Snapcaster Mage is without paying its mana cost. That is going to allow us to cast the Crashing Footfalls, the Ancestrals, and the Profane Tutors from graveyard. And what I like about this deck is that it has redundant removal. So we have both Leyline Binding and Prismatic Ending to remove creatures. Halo Forager, when it is not doing something unfair, can just in a fair capacity go and flashback removal spells. And while Prismatic Ending is perhaps not the most exciting card to flashback from graveyard, it does feel reasonable to be doing. And to make sure that we can gain a little bit of extra life and get our fun things into the graveyard, we do have Faithful Mending to help out with that, and we still have the As Foretold to cast these things for free. Profane Tutor is weird in that the suspend cost is low, so it is kind of reasonable to just cast this. So I think what's going to happen is that we are going to cast this fairly, use it, and then end up flashing it back later. And like we can Profane Tutor or a Halo Forager. That is just a thing that can happen, right? So we do this, into this, into this, into something else cool. So Socks, I think this is what you actually want to be playing, right? So we have Prismatic Ending, Leyline Binding, Teferi as well, Supreme Verdict. We have not Thunder Trap Trainer, but a similar card. And this one can put things directly into the graveyard, which has synergy with the rest of the deck. So I think this is the spiritual successor to what you are trying to do, and let's see how it plays out in action. Folks, if you need any cards, please consider checking out my sponsor, TOAMagic.com. Promo code ThrabenU will save you 5% on your order. You always get free shipping. They've got like 100,000 cards on the website. If you need dual lands or VVs or whatever, they've probably got it. Check them out. I've only had good experiences with them. With that being said, let's battle. Okay, I don't think my opening hand does anything. I play a tapped land. This isn't good until there's stuff in my graveyard. This is a fine card, but maybe having just nothing at 0 or 2 or any looting is just not acceptable. Yeah, this is fine. This maybe junk a Lorien Revealed. Put back in the deck for later. And I think I'm just going to go tapped land here. Scalding Tarn and pass from my opponent. I'll take 2 here. Let's cast a card. Did not eat a counterspell or anything. Am I going to eat a lightning bolt? No. Wow, that is very aggressive. I mean, I guess it turns this into a 0/3 creature that doesn't really do much, so I get it. I'm going to cast an As Foretold that is not really doing much right now. We will let that tick up over time and hopefully do something cool with it. Opponent fetches, goes to 16, and has Tainted Indulgence. There's a Grizzlebrand in the graveyard. That feels bad for me. That also feels bad for me. Time counter. Entirely too much land here. Oh, actually, I don't want to cast this for free, do I? Because then it's no colors. Glad I caught that. Cool. Bloodstained Mire fetches. I don't remember which of the graveyard bring back things are legal in Modern. I think it's Goryo's Vengeance and Persist. New Tameo. Do I have Surveil lands? I do have a Hedge Maze. That is in theory a redraw that gives me some value. Okay. As Foretold ticks up. Drop this. Throw down Teferi. Teferi bounce Tameo. We have another Teferi in a minute. Opponent fetches again. They're at 14. I haven't dealt any damage to them. More Tameo. And more land. This is going well for me. Famous fucking last words, huh? At least it's not going at my life total. It's going at the Teferi. So, in theory, this Grizzlebrand could stick around, air quotes, forever. Alright, Grizzlebrand flipping Tameo is new to me. That's very funny. Grizzlebrand goes deeper. Emperor of Bones is a way to get another Grizzlebrand next turn. I will just take a land out of my deck here. Don't have red yet. As Foretold up to 3. Nice. So without paying its mana cost, with Prismatic Ending is kind of rough. Cast a fairy for free. Welp. That's not great. I am kind of equally losing the game to these two cards. I think Emperor of Bones is more immediately scary. Oh, second. Yikes. Okay. I imagine that getting hit by that Grizzlebrand while Tameo is still plussing is just disastrous for me.
Oh, my opponent could just use Tameo to return Goryo's Vengeance too.
Oh, what was that? Oh no. There's another creature discarded. Yeah, Annihilator 17 is pretty decent. Oh, excuse me, Annihilator 10. Annihilator 10. So I could Inevitable Betrayal for my own Grizzlebrand or Atraxa. That seems reasonable. Got a couple of those in there. Maybe Verdict can go. Rest in peace, Halo Forager is a little weird. Rim 1. There's some other things I guess I could do. Grizzlebrand as a 7/7 lifelinking flyer is still kind of problematic though, right? This seems fine. I'll do a tap land and pass. I will be able to hold up Counterspell for the second turn cycle, and if nothing happens with it, I can Faithful Mending. What you got? 17? Excuse me. Faithless Looting. Starting multiple Emperor of Bones. I'll just pass the turn here. An opponent is probably going to do the same. Oh, they're just a second main phase hipster. Unearth on Emperor of Bones. I think so that I use my mana. I am fine just doing this. Do blue-black since I already have access to white. And attempt to counterspell. Request denied. Is this just like reasonable to suspend? I probably just jam, right? Let's jam. Force of negation be damned. As foretold. Nice. I would like a friend. And that's good enough for my opponent. As foretold did the thing. This looks solid. I have a rest in peace to take out the graveyards forever. I have some removal for things like Emperor of Bones. This seems fine. I think I just want extra mana here. That is land drop 3. Not land drop 3 the way I would prefer, but it is land drop 3. 18, the Emperor. So now it becomes, do I want to try to play around Force of Negation by attempting a prismatic ending on this first? Or do I just want to be done with it? Either way, I'm doing this. I think I want to try and just fully be done with the graveyards. Oh, hello. Oh no. Alright, there we go. It is Force of Negation. We'll see if something broken happens this turn. Looking bad for me. Grizzlebrand in yard. Grizzlebrand under Emperor of Bones. Which I guess is good for me, right? Because I can prismatic ending Emperor of Bones now. So I will cycle. I think I keep getting colors. Since I do have Leyline Binding here. Leyline Binding costs 2. I could do it on my opponent's turn. Let's not do that because of Adapt. Okay. Please get exiled. Cool. Alright, opponent passes the turn there. I don't have a cool thing to cast with As Foretold yet. I think I am just going to try and resolve a Teferi and keep plussing it. Opponent says no. Ooh, opponent is not hitting land drops. I will do the same thing as last turn here. Opponent will do some selecting. Junking a Force of Negation there. Casting a different Force of Negation. At this point, I have multiple ways to use a cheap or free spell. So hopefully I find one. Emperor of Bones to graveyard. By Faithful Mending first? Roll the dice on that? Nah. Let's just play the threat. We'll probably kill my opponent in about 3 attack steps, and I might end up just playing a 3/1 flyer to supplement the damage here. Flashback Faithless Looting. Psychic Frog in graveyard now. Oh, that's really good. I'll just hold up my mana. Send it. 12. Yeah, that's fine. Who is that at the bottom? Okay, it's just Womp. That's fine. A Surveil land. That's a Grizzlebrand. I like that a lot less. Going to go ahead and do this. I got punished. Sure. Maybe this isn't getting punished. Can you actually draw 7 there? Discard Mending and the Forager probably that's not doing anything. Yeah, I think I just end up winning here. Blue, white, black, red, not green. So fetch Hedge Maze. Land can go to graveyard. Now this is a 1 mana Leyline Binding. Opponent draws 7 in response. They will need 2 Force of Negations to not die immediately. So I counterspell back. Leyline Binding takes that out, and then I smack them in the face for the remaining points of life. GG's. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com. If you want to see upcoming sets, if you want to understand commander brackets, or if you just want an awesome place to store all, and I mean all, of your deck lists, Moxfield is the place. You can organize all of your decks by folders, and you can even change the views. You like visual, they've got that. you like text, they've got that. Check out my Moxfield Pro Field if you want to see all, and I mean all, of the decks that I've been cooking up. No mana here, so this one is an easy mulligan. As Foretold, Crashing Footfalls, Prismatic Ending, or Leyline Binding to round things out. This is fine. I'm going to keep the one that interacts in the early game. Leyline Binding is a much better card later, but I am hoping we have later covered via As Foretold. Arid Mesa, Steam Vents, and a Preordain. Oh, that's something to cast this turn. Maybe there's Steam Vents? There was a Steam Vents. Yes. The Archaeologist. I will put Profane Tutor to hand, I think. And if As Foretold sticks, I've got some cool stuff coming. The Lick Shot Show Off. That card is scary enough that I probably have to Prismatic Ending it, unfortunately. I will take 3 here. Fly, so I don't get to block. So we will take out that creature and then drop a land. Pass the turn. Probably end up cycling with Lorien Revealed. I don't know, I might not. Could just get my green off of Polluted Delta. No, I guess I could get like Basic Island and then get Hedge Maze to just play naturally as a land. Hate that. Yup. The attack's free for them. I will go ahead and block. It is a mutagenic growth. Now the prowess means that they do get through for a little bit of damage when combined with trample here. I will take 2. I'm at 12. So I will fetch. I'm gonna get Island. I'm going to cycle this. I can play As Foretold into Profane Tutor into Leyline Binding on a creature. Crashing Footfalls might be better in the short term versus the monks. Alright, then let's do Hedge Maze. That's unfortunate. As Foretold. Rhinos. Yeah. Honestly, yeah, that's fine. And we'll just see how crazy my opponent goes here. They have one flyer that can't be blocked. The monks do have prowess. They can get pretty big. Opponent has gone back and forth on tapping that mountain to cast a spell. Alright, there it goes. This is so much damage. Cycle the bauble. And everybody is coming to party. I think I am trying to kill creatures here. This the double strike thing? It is the double strike thing. I am dead. I'm dead on turn 4 through 2/4/4 blockers, and I think I cast 1 removal spell in there too. Seems good. Any of this fast enough? Turn Scolding is. I don't know that tapping out for things like this that don't impact the board, I don't know if that's actually good. If I do that, it means that I am not holding up spells like these. Let's maybe trim some stuff around the edges here. Alright, opening hand has a couple of removal spells here, which is hopefully fine. I think I'm going to go Tapped Hollowed Fountain first. And maybe I get to Prismatic Ending a creature on 1. Play Tapped Teleria West. And then maybe be able to curve out into As Foretold if we get a little lucky and find something to do with it. 17. Swift Spear, yeah. Opponent is going to get 2 damage out of it, though. I will be at 18. Then my opponent gets their redraw. I will nuke Monastery Swift Spear. Now that I have the 3rd land, it is possible that I end up transmuting this for Rhinos. Let's just do Tapped Steam Vents. The Slick Shot. I'll just take 1. That's fine. So we're going to take that out. Drop a Plains, and I will intend on cycling with Lorien Revealed. Probably for like a Hedge Maze. Oh, it's another one. Am I just taking 1? Nope. Is Lava Dart. I'm at 13. Cycle. I have Jeskai. I don't have black, which I do have actual spells for. I think I'm usually doing a tapped land anyway. I could take this one. Let's take this one. It is so scary to not hold up counterspell here. I'm going to hold up the counterspell. Like, I really want to tap out for As Foretold. I just don't know that I get to do that. Yeah, no. Not giving you that. That spell is still just worth 2 damage from this, though. Land drop. Nothing else happens. I am at 10. Do have Faithful Mending here. I think I will cast it. Forager is not actually good right now. Alright, discard 1 and 2. Fetch. I'm at 11. And if I don't die, I can produce rhinos. Or do a Profane Tutor for something that removes the Slick Shot. I'm absolutely scared that I'm just going to die. A double strike card kills me so easily here. With Lava Dart already chilling in graveyard. Basic Mountain. Bobble. 5 damage. Lava Dart is worth 3 more. I'm nearly dead. 5 incoming. Lightning Bolt is 5 more. So I'm at 7 and Lava Dart does it from there. Unseed. I got run over on turn 5 through 2 prismatic endings and a counter spell and gaining 2 life. Holy shit. I will be keeping this hand. We're going to see a different play pattern this time that we haven't seen yet, where I just suspend a card and then hope to bring it back later. Opponent has a leyline to start off the game, which I might answer with my own leyline. Blood Crypt and Ragavan. That is a hell of a card. So I need 4 land types over 2 lands. How do I do that? Do untapped lands specifically. Godless Shrine Steam Vents would do. Godless Shrine Steam Vents. Okay. Fetch. Pay the modern tax. And suspend. I'll take 2 from this Ragavan. And what happens? Oh gosh, no. So for those of you not familiar with this interaction, everything is all colors. So this is currently a flying, hexproof, lifelink, trample, vigilance creature. Not great. Oh, I am taking so much damage from my own lands here. Modern tax. This now costs 2 mana. But if you take a look, I'm only able to target one thing over there. So I am just on a 2-turn clock from these by themselves, and I need to naturally draw a land to Teferi bounce a Scion out of play. Ragavan hits. Gets a treasure, so it's not the end of the world that my opponent is on 1 land here. Come on, land. I mean, technically that's what I asked for, right? I guess this keeps me alive. I'll take a Leyline Binding. Tapped land. Need another white source. This is dicey. I guess there's timelines where I don't remove the Leyline Binding, and I just try to cycle Lorien Revealed in an earlier term to work towards Supreme Verdict and hope that that works out. Rough. So, I've... What an absolute beating. Too many keywords. GG. About the Filigree Silex here. That seems like a reasonable way to target untargetable creatures. Seems okay for Ragavan type stuff. I'll trim one of these. I'm gonna trim 2 of these. They haven't been great so far. The Nanbo with Prismatic Ending is real. And I don't know, maybe one of those. This is a reasonable assortment of Magic the Gathering cards that I hope end up going somewhere. Get Hedge Maze immediately. And hopefully I hit something to do with Halo Forager between Faithful Mending and this Surveil. This is kind of the namesake card of the deck. I guess I will keep it, but it doesn't feel great. I'll drop a land and pass the turn. Opponent will fetch and probably Surveil. No, just grabbing a land and passing the turn. This is a much slower start than last time, which I am thankful for. Go ahead and do Godless Shrine here. Pass my Faithful Mending. Get rid of a Lorien Revealed. And I think the Forager, since I missed on that. And I think I will just go ahead and hold up Counterspell immediately. I don't know this format well enough to know like what my opponent's Counterspell suite is like. Ryome. And Steam Vents. As things currently stand, Prismatic Ending sure does not answer that. So I guess that means Counterspell. So I will get my Steam Vents here. And then I have all of my own colors. Alright, good. It did resolve. I think Lorien Revealed is a draw 3. Yeah. I will drop a land and throw down an As Foretold. I did not get to do anything cool with it immediately, which may mean that it eats a Leyline Binding. But if my opponent interacts with this and I get to resolve the draw 3, probably good for me. It is regular non-dashed Ragavan. and a Territorial Kavu. Fetch. We'll get, I guess the other Surveil land. Do not want island. As Foretold, we'll start ticking up. Queen's Tower, not what I am looking for. I'm gonna believe. Grab an island. And Lorien Revealed. Okay, I hit Profane Tutor, which I can cast for free. I'm probably interested in Supreme Verdict as the card I pick up here. Already played my land. I'll pass the turn there. I will take some short-term damage and then hopefully stabilize the game. I wonder if Modern is creature-centric enough that I can just play Path to Exile over Prismatic Ending. And then they work with As Foretold and Halo Forager much better. Oh no. Haste is real bad. Fuck. And a Spellbomb. The good news is I'm not dead. The bad news is that I will be at 1 versus a deck that has Arena of Glory and Dash Ragavan and potentially Lightning Bolt style effects as well. And Flage. Fuck. What a disaster. So I can Supreme Verdict, clear the board, make 8 power for free, die to Flage. Supreme Verdict puts creatures in graveyard. And Spellbomb also could just be sacrificed. Faithful Mending does not get me outside of that range. I can't do like 2 Faithful Mendings and Supreme Verdict as of right now. I can't fetch or anything. Alright. GG. I'm going to keep this hand. I need some more mana here. I have a Counterspell and a Prismatic Ending that can maybe get me out of initial turns until I get some colored mana that allows me to start doing some cool stuff. Windswept Heath. 17. Cauldron Familiar. I'll get drained for 1. Alright, just... You're not that scary yet, but you always end up becoming kind of annoying later on. Temple Garden. Birthing Ritual. Well, I mean, it's not like I'm going to let that sit and play. Does mean that I'm missing my land drop this turn, and that I don't get to, like, hold Counterspell up. Is that Amalia? Yeah, alright, so Ward, pay 3 life, and Explores a bunch. I think I am holding up Counterspell. Opponent fetches, and Surveils. Junking Dryad Arbor. Aldrin Familiar. So that starts the exploring nonsense. I will use my mana. I don't know exactly what this deck is doing. Countering a Cauldron Familiar is awkward. I don't really want to give my opponent any value right now while I am stumbling if possible. See what they got. Renegade Rallier, not great. Now my opponent is going to get their explore-based value. The Cauldron Familiar leads into that. Samwise coming. And I have reasonable cards here, but not the mana to deploy them. At this point, I think I just need to get some land. Yikes. So I don't have Supreme Verdict to search up if I happen into an As Foretold. I am taking 7 minimum next turn, and my opponent also has Samwise already. I think this one is lost. I'm not going to show my opponent more cards. Going to assume that this is good. And that these are also good. This is a lot of cards to board. And Rest in Peace is super awkward with Murktide Region and Halo Forager, actually. Alright. Treat this as an endgame combo. Need to cut 2 more cards. I guess this gets worse if the Foragers go out. This could also just be me overboarding. This has 1 land. That is not going to do it. This has a reasonable assortment of cards. I think I'm going to keep, and I'm going to get rid of Counterspell, just kind of assuming that I am tapping out for things this game. Say no to that land. I don't mind more land, but I would prefer them to be colors that I don't have yet for leyline binding purposes. 18. Thoughtseize. Alright. I lost Filigree Silex. Picked up Crashing Footfalls, which I can't use yet. I don't have green mana. Let's throw this into play. I imagine that it is impactful, but I can still just die to my opponent, turning creatures sideways. 15. 13. There's Amalia. I will just bounce her out of play. That's fine. This is good for tempo for me. Minus. Yeah. Counterspell not great. Again, I have tapped out for stuff and may continue to do so depending on what exactly I draw. The Goose. Activated abilities there are off, though. And Amalia. Lorien revealed. I'm always Teferi plussing. Go ahead and island cycle this and pick up green, which I believe is only Hedge Maze. Guess, yeah, Hedge Maze. Play it. We can do better than that. And I do have Leyline Binding for 2 mana, which I might use on this, but I could also counterspell. I think I'll let the Teferi go. Hold up counterspell here. I don't know that the Teferi is doing anything. Don't know that I'm going to get another minus out of it. I hope there's not some sort of collected company type card here. Do I want to use Leyline Binding now? Not bad. I will suspend Rhinos and pass. There's a Chord of Calling. I don't know what it's getting, but I'm just going to say no to it. Leyline Binding costs 2 mana right now, not 1, unfortunately. Okay. It seems like half of a combo. Is that the other half there? So whenever you explore, you gain 3 life. Whenever you gain life, you explore. Yeah, so this is just going to get you enough power to wipe the board and then go at me directly. And I died. So much for Curse Totem, huh? This is now a lethal size threat. I'm gonna concede. GG. All right. Opening hand doesn't do anything too quickly. Hopefully that doesn't matter. We have a lot of top end right now. I'm looking for land. That's not land. Try to figure out what opponent is doing. Edge Maze, Misty Rainforest, and pass the turn. So there's something else to do with my turn, but it might just be better to cycle Lorien Revealed and guaranteed the next land drop. Technically also holding up Counterspell. Gives me another Hedge Maze. So Seiju. I have no idea what I'm playing against. I'll fetch. I'm going to put a Surveil on the stack and cycle this. I need black and red. Or sorry, yeah, no, I need black and red, with black being more important. I'll pick up Watery Grave. Godless Shrine. Am I fine with land drop 4? I have a fistful of cards I'm fine with land drop 4. I'm going to go ahead and play a Teferi here and see what happens. I don't imagine it resolves. It's turn 3, my opponent hasn't done anything. They're probably a more controlling deck. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, well, shit, I'm wrong. Bibblethip? Okay. Yeah. I'm so confused. Like, I thought there's just going to be 10 power on board, and my opponent just drew some cards. Godless Shrine means that I don't know whether I need to, like, fuck with this. I don't understand what it's doing. I think I'm doing this and playing the Archaeologist. Ooh, Footfalls to hand is great. Urktide? Counterspell? I think Counterspell. Sure. Brazen Borrower. Okay. Opponent can push 1 point of damage there. That's totally fine. Go to 14. Ah, that's what we're doing. That makes sense. That is a value shardless agent. 1, 2, 3. As foretold. I should have left Hedge Maze open in case this doesn't resolve. Did not get punished. Rhinos for free. Pass turn. Being played as a land for the life is a value shardless agent. I can Supreme Verdict at some point if I need to. Blood Pit's Drowner. This is the stun counter thing? Yep. Sure. And Petty Theft, another one. Sure. I will probably just Supreme Verdict, clear this board, and then do some crimes with Profane Tutor. Always yield to that. Yeah. I don't love doing that immediately after the Rhinos, but seems like it gets rid of enough bodies that it's fine. More Rhinos? More Rhinos. One has a Birthing Ritual. I can take that out in a minute. And an Endurance. That can potentially turn into a different creature. This makes my Murktide Regent that I actively have in my hand worse. Feel bad the Birthing Ritual is. Ugh. Okay. We'll figure that out. We'll figure that out. Cast this for free. Do you have Murktide? What is this? It's big, whatever it is. Oh, it's Brazen Borrower. It's not particularly good, but everything is Birthing Ritual fuel. Let's just cast that for free. This is also just instance in the graveyard for Murktide Regent. Now, I imagine that my opponent against my 5-color mana base does not want... Well, Oh, Oculus. Yep. We'll take that out. Yep, I like the part where I get to cast spells again. That is very good for me personally. Send in for 8. When it's at 7. Not the biggest Murktide region in the world, but it's mine. I understand wanting to go for the Oculus against 8 power of onboard rhinos from the life total that they were at, though. Like, I get it. Opponent hits another Coiling Oracle with Coiling Oracle. Enters the Yo Dog Coiling Oracle loop. No. Goes to end step. Blood Pit Drowner. So my Murktide Regent doesn't get to crash in. And there's more here. And Endurance. Archaeologist. I will regular cast you. And that's why. And that is my opponent conceding. I'm very glad that they didn't Shardless Agent into Rhinos. I would have just died so easily to that. So Inevitable Betrayal is Oculus at worst. Stern Scolding seems fine. I'm going to turn these into get Oculus and do some rimming around the edges. Maybe this stuff just is not working and I should just play more of these. Like, I don't think I've ever successfully cast a spell with the Forager in the entire league. It's okay. I hopefully remove 2 things and then play a Murktide Regent and hope that that works out well for me. We'll do tapped Watery Grave. Opponent will surveil. A new Misty Rainforest. This doesn't represent Counterspell, which is a little awkward. I think I want to Faithful Mending over Archaeologist immediately. I would like to hit lands that make Leyline Binding cost less, and I don't mind discarding some instants and sorceries. Alright, Breeding Pool. So this will be that Shardless Agent into probably something that cantrips. Yes, that is all fine. So I'll end of turn Mending. Gonna get rid of Island. And maybe 1 land. That didn't really turn out exactly like I wanted it to. Stern Scolding is not bad. So we'll do the Archaeologist. Get a Profane Tutor, which is not great right now, but could become good later. Looking at where this hand has gone, maybe I needed to keep the other land. Alright, opponent tapped for something, and then decided they were going to attack first. I will block, take 1, 21. They pass. I think I do need to fetch here. Something might happen in response. Hedge Maze is in graveyard. Kind of planning on grabbing that. Whoops. Guess I will get Steam Vents then. Another Faithful Mending. Only 1 instant or sorcery in the graveyard for Murktide Regent purposes, which is a little awkward. I think I'm going to go ahead and do this here in hopes of making my turn cycle better. I'm going to discard at least 1 instant or sorcery. I might just do multiple. I'm going to hold up Interaction for now and then probably tap out for a Murktide Regent. Well, tap out for a Murktide Regent next turn. I'm not taking that much damage yet. I don't feel like I need to interact with these creatures if I am only taking 1 damage per turn. 21. Alright, we were just staring at each other. If I don't have green to get, I will just Meticulous Archive. That's weird. Slow. And to get rid of it. No Up the Beanstalk to speak of. Betrayal, Tutor, Footfalls. I'll leave the Mendings in the graveyard. Flare of Denial. Yes. I'm fine to continue taking 1 to this creature if nothing changes. Yep. I'll call it there. If nothing happens, I might Faithful Mending end of turn. Blood Pit's Drowner. Sure. I'll probably cast a Leyline Binding after this has attacked or something. I don't know, maybe I just don't. So I'm gonna fetch, take some land out of my deck, do some mending. The timing of this is awful. I just exiled a bunch of my cool things. I'm gonna keep the As Foretold. Get rid of that and 1 of these. Cool. I will get this starting to tick up. I don't know that I fight over this right now. If my opponent counters, doesn't do anything yet. I've had a bunch of like awkwardly situationally timed things this game. I will take 3 in combat. That's fine. 14. I might go ahead and just take this out here to not take a ton of damage. I'll attempt to stick another one of these. Probably trade with another counterspell. Yes, that's fine. I will counterspell an endurance. My graveyard is valuable on a number of different levels here. Does mean that if my opponent plays something like a birthing ritual, they can get one activation out of it. There's an Oculus. Okay. So you will get one, what is it, zombie? Card type does this have? None, it's just a dude. I'll see what I'm drawing in case it's something like a Supreme Verdict. I guess there's things like the Mystical Dispute that make me want to do this first. Take out the Oculus. Play the Archaeologist. Stern Scolding, Lorien Revealed. I will take Lorien Revealed. Conceptually, don't mind the draw 3, and we'll just see how bad the Manifest randomly was. Petty Theft on a Leyline Binding. Sure don't get to Stern Scolding that. Yeah. My Leyline Binding costs 2. It's not great. Burn Catacombs comes down. Getting 6 in the air here. Can't block any of it. 7. Brazen Borrower is also coming. All around, not great. My As Foretold is not great right now. I will 2 mana for Leyline Binding. Take out the Oculus. And I think I'm at the point where I have to do things like this. Oh, wait, no, not white. 2 different colors. I think I am holding Stern Scolding for Brazen Borrower. And then hoping to either cast a Lorien Revealed and catch up, or draw something for As Foretold. Basic Forest. Fucking stop it. Yeah. I will Stern Scolding that. But the 5 in the air is really bad right now. And I'm dead to anything that removes one of the Archaeologists, or one of those manifest things flipping into a flyer. Opponent did not attack? I don't understand. Birthing Ritual? Sure. Into an Endurance. Yep, you got it. Opponent will manifest Dread once again. Well, it is probably time to start swinging for the fences here. So I'll draw 3. I hit a land drop. I will do a 2 mana Leyline Binding on this fucking Oculus once again. And pass. Land drop from my opponent. Fetching. Shocking. How do you need to use that much mana? I think I'm going to take 5 and keep these alive. I'm dead here if my opponent attacks with the Oculus that previous turn. Now I get to look for Supreme Verdict mostly, I guess. Maybe some rhinos can do some cool stuff. Harbinger. Not great. So I will play the Archaeologist. Let's see what that does. Cast that for free. Targeting you. I imagine the Oculus is the scariest thing here. My opponent does not have all that many relevant spells left. 2 Sink into Stupors are the big ones. Alright. I will get an Oculus. I have a counter spell available. Did I play a land? I did not play a land. I can tap Plains to get any other land and then have double counterspell available. I'm going to do that. Yeah. Okay. And now I just kind of assume that Oculus spirals the game out of control. That is a subtlety that was turned face up. I will manifest Dread. The rest go to graveyard. Footfalls can be in graveyard. Just a land. That flies. You fly. Is that just a check to see if I know that Oculus has flying? I counter it? That is an Oculus. I counter it. That is an Oculus. I counter it. Boy, I look smart for making that Lorien Revealed play. Birthing Ritual trigger. That is the concession. I don't think I played that last match optimally, but I played it well enough. GG. Alright, let's wrap this up. What do we think of this whole As Foretold thing? I think the optimal build might be somewhere between what I just played and what Socks of Grandeur submitted. Halo Forager is something that I conceptually liked, and it just never lined up. I do think it's good in theory. I think Path it was better than Prismatic Ending. It's not that Prismatic Ending didn't exile anything, but the non-bow with As Foretold is real, and the non-bow with Halo Forager is also real. So I think if you mash a couple of those different builds together with this one, you might end up somewhere playable. The mana's a touch clunky. I didn't love that there's no way to just suspend a Crashing Footfalls with an untapped land on turn 1. That might be... You might sneak a land that can do that into the mana base somewhere. I played reasonable games of Magic. I got a little overwhelmed in the early games sometimes, but my end game was kind of sweet. So we will give it the shaky sideways thumb, where there is some potential to be mined here, but I don't think what we're doing is more powerful than other things that are available in the format. But it was fun. We made rhinos a few times, and Inevitable Betrayal, getting Oculus was cool. With that, I think I will go ahead and call it a day here. I hope you all enjoyed. See ya!